Toy Story 4 has some of the most beloved characters we fell in love with when we first saw the trailer with Forkey and Gabby Gabby. Of course, in the ending scenes, we had a heart-to-heart with Gabby Gabby as her motive was nothing more than just wanting to be fixed in order to find a home. From the first draft of the script though, these characters were nowhere to be seen or mentioned, so what would the movie have been like based on the first draft? Today we will be looking scene by scene and comparing the differences of what could have been, starting with the runtime of the movie. The final draft has 122 pages, giving it a runtime of 1 hour and 40 minutes. Given that one page of a script is equal to 2 minutes time, we can assume that the first draft of the script that has 99 pages has a runtime of 2 hours and 5 minutes. Now you may be confused as to how the shorter script seems to run longer than the original film that we've seen in theaters, but these are just assumptions and the actual runtime based on a script is biased depending on the director's wishes and views, and since we are only making assumptions here, we just have to make our best guesses. This 99-page script was written by Ben Carlin, who is best known for his production on Modern Family, so let's go ahead and break down this script. We enter on Andy's mom showing his room to a couple. Taking place when Andy was 12, it appears the filmmakers were trying to insinuate kids growing out of playing with actual toys and switching to video games, which during this time that this movie came out is accurate. Compare this to the opening scene of the final version where we open on a thunderstorm in Andy's room, and in the middle of trying to save another toy, Bo is all of a sudden taken and it's not clear by who. The conversation between Woody and Bo is fairly similar to what we can read from the first draft. Woody wanting to save Bo, but she refuses and tries influencing him to join her, but then he suddenly remembers that he's still connected to Andy. Now this is a drastic change from the scene that we know of, Bo Peep accepting the fact that her time as a toy is up and goes on to be with another owner. Given Woody's personality in the first draft, Bo suggesting they stay in the basement, Woody has always been set on being able to be played with, not just sitting around on a shelf. The scene ends with Andy's mom giving the couple Bo's lamp as the woman is pregnant. Woody comes to term that Bo's time here is done and will be of good use to another baby girl. In this scene, the roles reverse as Woody convinces Bo that this is the best decision for her. It is revealed 6 years later that the pregnant couple was actually Bonnie's parents. Instead of being outcasted by Bonnie as for Woody not being a chosen toy anymore, she plays with him, but while doing so, his wear and tear starts to show, making Bonnie's mom decide to shelf him. As the time goes on, Woody continuously tries to get himself out of what is called the hall, shelved away with other toys, as he knows there is still a bit of playtime left in him. Buzz and the gang pose a plan to get him out of there as he kept getting put back from Bonnie getting him back from the hall, and putting more damage onto him. During the third scene, as Buzz finds Woody, the television comes on and portrays an advertisement for Bo's lamp. It is a bidding war for purchase. In this version, we actually get to see how Bo Peep ended up at the same pawn shop versus her just telling us in the movie when she ran into Woody at the park. The rest of the gang persuade Woody to go find her, but to their surprise, Woody accepts the way things are, saying, "It didn't exactly end well between us." The writers were right to correct this, as fans probably would have had mixed reactions to that statement as we got to see Bo and Woody grow so close in the first two Toy Story movies. Of course, it didn't end there though, with Buzz refusing to let him give up on her. And also with this version, we see Bonnie taking a liking to Woody. Another character that stood out was Lance. Set at Bonnie's aunt's house, Sarah, her son Lance sounds quite familiar when he demands to see Woody, noticing his voice box is broken and races to, quote, fix it with his doctor tools. The same kind of tools Sid used in the original Toy Story in 1995.
Once we go into Sid's house, we won't be coming out!
Whoa, Scott, hey, boy! Sit. Good boy. Hey, I got something for you, boy.
It's nice to see that they changed this, as having the same characters wouldn't have been as original. The writers did have a little fun with this, however, with a mini montage of Woody and Buzz's bodies being swapped, spanning almost 3 whole minutes. In the first quarter of the script, Ducky and Bunny were introduced. However, they were described as 2 animal plushies, Ducky feisty with googly eyes and Bunny a Zen master of a few words. Fairly different from the final script, as they were introduced as simply hands sewn together in friendship.
With my foot! Get him. Ho, ho, ho. Get him.
Bunny, what are you doing? I can't reach him. Help me out here, come on.
Oh, sorry, Ducky, I'm not a mind reader, you know.
What's not to understand? You make me say it?
What?
Getting back to Woody's plan to get Bo before she is pawned over, while at the aunt's house, he schedules a delivery pickup to get them out of there. Their plan is successful and they end up at the pawn shop. Once Woody reaches Bo at the pawn shop and they become face to face, their introduction is similar to what we saw in the film during the park scene, sweet and surprised between both of them. The conversation turns to Bo thanking Woody for letting her go, for letting her find her security and saying, "I did need security and I think after all these years I finally found it." Bo is eventually let go and wrapped up ready to be shipped to her new antique collectible owner. However, he has a change of heart and jumps onto the truck attempting to grab Bo, but her sheep are holding onto her, essentially playing a round of tug-of-war. The sheep lose their grip and Woody essentially kidnaps Bo. She's furious, thinking this is what she wanted. He's now confused. She reveals that in the beginning scene when she was taken with that couple with the baby on the way, actually gave her away the next day. The thing with Bo is she is not just an ordinary toy. Her and the sheep disconnect from the lamp, yes, but she's made of porcelain, fragile glass, that isn't meant to be played with. Therefore, she doesn't have much advantage as the other toys, as the theme of the lamp she is aimed for a baby or child from birth to maybe 3 years old, then just passed on to another child rather than kept for at least a few more years. She's not a toy, rather a fixture for decoration. Bo even said, "I've gone from yard sales to Goodwills to church rummage sales, each time sold for less and less until I finally ended up in a box on a street corner that just said free stuff. Free, worth nothing to nobody." After Bo takes off, Woody becomes disappointed in himself and thinks he now belongs on the shelf back at Bonnie's house. The rest of the toys, however, persuades him to believe that he loves her and they need each other. During this entire situation, Woody and Buzz's bodies are still switched, with Buzz giving him the intuition that he's only able to do this in Buzz's body, so to say. At this point, Woody has reached Bo and helps her to get to Beatrice's house, the woman who won her in the auction, in order to be in her new home. Moving further along in the script, Bo actually talks about her life after Molly saying, "I lived in this crazy Scottish family on a sailboat. They were sailing around the world and every night they would turn me on and gather around and talk about their adventures. And even though I always stayed on the boat, it was like I was out there with them, going to all these incredible places, seeing the world through their eyes." As they finally reach their destination, Woody stutters with making sure this is what she wants, but in reality tries to convey what he wants without sounding selfish. Again, the gang, meaning Ducky and Bunny, persuade Woody that he has got to tell Bo how he feels. They don't let him give up on her just because she is now where she wants to be. Over the last few scenes, Woody makes it into the trailer, being greeted by numerous knickknacks like Hansel and Gretel, the Big Bad Wolf, 3 Little Pigs, and the 7 Dwarfs. Seems that Beatrice has been a collector for a while now. As Woody reaches Bo, he finally reveals his true feelings to her clearly and what he wants for the both of them. Now that Bo has seen the place, and as cramped as it is, with tons of cats and just too much stuff, Woody persuades her to leave, but surprisingly, she wants to leave her sheep behind, trapping them in a box as Woody and Bo plan their escape. And real quick, I wanted to point out another surprising detail I noticed when reading this script. Referencing the old Mother Hubbard fairy tale, Bo actually cusses, which honestly I was a little taken back by, but of course they didn't keep this in. The story ends with the whole gang shipping themselves back to Bonnie's house and Bo being placed at her bedside table. Now this is an abrupt end as we hear nothing from the sheep or Beatrice, wondering what happened to Bo, and Bo making the decision to leave the sheep behind so easily isn't like her. We've heard some jokes from Bo about some slight annoyance in previous Toy Story films, but compared to the final version of the script, Bo was very protective of her sheep on numerous occasions. The biggest difference that anyone can notice with this first draft is the existence of Forkey. This character was introduced to us as a happy-go-lucky toy or utensil, made into a toy whose role was to guide Woody in the right direction.
Okay. Like it or not, you are a toy. Maybe you don't like being one, but you are one nonetheless, which means you are going to be there for Andy when he
Who's Andy?
I mean, Bonnie. You have to be there for Bonnie. That is your job.
Well, what's your job?
Well, right now, it's to make sure you do yours.
Carry me?
No!
Because the idea of him wasn't created yet, the only guide Woody had was the rest of the characters and his own subconscious. The effect of him not being there was the cause of succeeding getting to Bo almost by himself. Another thing is there was no real villain. Gabby and the dummies did not exist as the pawn shop wasn't a main setting for the movie. Speaking of the pawn shop, it is noticed that the pawn shop owner that we know was switched from Beatrice just wanting Bo as a collector's item. With the changes of the characters and settings between the two versions of the script, it's nice to see what was thought of of and what the writers decided to leave in or leave out. The biggest change was the initial climax. With Forkey being a character, it caused Woody to have a side quest, not realize that after he accomplished his mission, he would end up being with Bo, not being the desire for the whole movie, including Forkey giving us new characters to experience and grow fond of. So what do you guys think of this comparison? Do you think it would have been better to leave the story the way it was or how it is now? Or would you have thought of Ducky and Bunny as a duo still if they weren't sewn together? Let us know in the comments down below.